the digital platform that we created. I realized today in my first class that the Google Sites is not allowing our textbook a link to be able to go right to it and sign in, so we're redoing that link. Just went to my website, I double-clicked, got a text box, link my.hrw.com. There's the link to the book. Now I want to scroll that down a little bit so I can actually put another text box right next to here. I'm going to put username, semicolon, which is my email. You're going to put your email. This is a place for your resources. That means you being able to remember your resources and whatever it is that you have. I'm going to put username, semicolon, and I put my email address. You're going to put your email address, and I'm going to hit enter and put password, semicolon, and it's Spruce 2020. So anytime that I need to be reminded of that password and my username for my textbook, it's all right there. Remember, you can change the color of your stuff on the side. I can see on the side. If I click off of it, I don't see anything, but if I click and hover, I can change that. So just my textbook is highlighted right there, different from all my other resources. I can actually take these dots that are on the side, and I can drag this to the top and drop it. So my textbook is at the top, so you can move those sections around. And I want to do one more thing before we leave and get back to class today. I want to hit the plus sign, put password, done. Password for a new page. I'm going to drag that password page all the way to the bottom. I want to show you how to hide it from navigation. That way, if you actually wanted somebody to look at your website, but you don't want them looking at all your passwords, I actually have this on my website because there's so many different passwords. I have it written down in a black book. I also have it digitally, so if I don't have one or the other, once you have the page that you have, you click on the 3 dots on the right, and you're going to hide from navigation. That means that nobody can see this page. Publish it. I won't see the last thing that I just did, and I go to the computer and cell phone. If I look at all my pages, you notice that it doesn't come up. It's not listed in the pages. Somebody's looking at my website. It doesn't say password. Only when I click behind the scenes and I can see that it's here. It's got a line through it. I will be looking at your design on your pages. Let's go to the Honors Algebra 2 page. I want to design my header up here. And so there's nothing there, but when I come up here, I can see that I can change my header type to a large banner, a title only. But this is the place where you're doing most of the designing, is change image. Change image. Upload means from your desktop, but I'm pretty sure that Chromebooks are not allowed to have stuff on your desktop. It all goes to your drive. So go to select image. I can look at the Google Gallery to see what they have here for different stuff. And I'm going to go to search though. Search. And I'm going to search for a math GIF, GIF. Now, I don't want to click on it, insert it, and then have to go find another one. I can actually check these. If I just click on it once, then there's a little URL that comes up at the bottom of the page. I can actually click on that. It will open it in another separate tab, and I can look to see if it's actually moving around, okay, before I actually insert it. So you can go down through and look at any of those. I'll give you 1 minute to find a picture. Okay, I don't like that the Honors Algebra 2 is right on top of that picture right there, so I am going to, actually, I'm just going to highlight it and copy it because I am going to use it. Then I'm going to trash can it. I'd like to be able to have a space between this right here where my title is going to be, so I'm going to go down bottom and double click for a text. And then I'm going to drag that up to the top. So if you hover, you can see the crosshairs come up. I'm going to drag that up so it's right below my picture. And I'm going to put Honors Algebra 2 in here, or just paste in what I copied. And I'm going to change the color of this off to the side. If I click on the palette, I can see there's always going to be 3 colors, white, gray, and the color I chose in my theme. But there is a workaround to getting other colors. If I go to image, I'm in my palette on the left. I'm going to go to image, select image, search. I'm going to search for a solid background. And then I can actually choose colors here. I can look down through here, or they don't usually give you very many. You find a color that you want. I'm just going to pick any color here, and I think I'll go with this one. Also, these little dots in the corner right here, it darkens it. If I hit that, it'll actually lighten it back up again. Or not, either way. So that's a workaround to getting more colors. And then my header type, I want to see if I can fit that guy in a little bit more. So I just made it bigger to a larger banner. So that's designing your website and putting some something other than just plain old what came with it. It's your website, you know what I mean? However you decide to design it will be fine. Your home page, you need to do that by Friday. You need to have your headers decorated for your website and your home page as well. Your home page, some students from the other class were asking me about that. Your home page is about you, so you're just introducing yourself. You could say what your likes are. You could say some achievements that you've had. What are your dreams for the future? Where do you see yourself going when education is all said and done? What do you want to get out of it? And that's your home page. You want one that's actually showing first instead of visual arts. Okay, so that would mean your pages need to be changed. So if you want to have science first, I would click on it and I would drag it as a line, not on top of math, but as a line, and that'll bring it up to being towards the front. All right, back to Google Classroom. Looking at classwork. Monday, 9/14. You have an in-class Google quiz to take right now. And if you click on the form, you have your Google Class quiz. The quiz is just asking questions. Make sure you can access your textbook, know how to use your textbook before I actually start assigning assignments in a few weeks, couple weeks. And some of the questions from your summer homework, you're going to want to have to punch in some of your answers. I also put a question on there about taking a picture of it and uploading it, seeing if you can do that. So I'm going to give you time. I'll give you about 20 minutes to work through that. Here is the Desmos Google Doc that can be found in right here, Desmos Art Project, Google Classroom. Open up a new tab and go to desmos.com. The first thing that you need to do, if you haven't done so in the past, is you need to sign up using your school Gmail account. Sign up. If you've used Desmos before, then you still just go in and you can log in if you've had it before. I log in with my Google. Over here, you're going to want to name this graph. Let's just say Practice Desmos. Now, Desmos is not like Google. If you're working on something, please make sure you hit the save button. Once we get going, the save button. If you don't and you click out of here, you lose stuff. And I've seen it happen with students. They put a lot of work into it and then they forget to save. It is unfortunate. All right. So I can click as many of these as I want to bring up however many I want. Let's go on the first one and let's actually click on the plus sign and make a folder. The first folder, so you go to the plus sign at the top, you click on that and you'll see folder. The first folder is going to be about linear functions. Down in the second box, we're just going to write a general equation for, let's do a slope-intercept form. Anybody remember the equation for slope-intercept? What do you got? So this is a general equation because it's all variables. Whenever you put in a general equation, you can add sliders to it when it's a general one. So I'm going to say I want all these sliders. I want M and B to both be sliders. And I can, this is going to come in real handy with higher equations that you haven't used yet, so you can remember what they look like in your project. So we can move the slider around on the slope to see how that changes it to a negative slope or a positive slope. It's getting steeper. Same thing with your y-intercept, seeing it go up and down the y-intercept. That's going to be really handy for functions you don't know. All right. Let's go and we're going to put this in the folder. Notice on the side right here, on the left side, there's no line there. When I take this function in the top left-hand corner and I drag it up, it puts that line right there because I want to put it in that folder. Now it's in the linear folder. When I close that folder, it's in there. I'm going to open it because I also want M and B to be in there with it. So I'm going to drag it until I see the line right below y equals mx plus b. And I'm going to put the b below the m. And when I close my folder, I can see that they're all in the linear function. It doesn't look so messy when you have a lot of functions. You can change the color of your line if I hold it down. I can change it to a dotted line, a dashed line. Okay. I can change the color of it. I'm just going to leave it blue and leave it whole right now. What would be an equation of a horizontal line? I have going up. I have m positive going up. I have m negative going down. What would be walking on the floor? Is there anybody out there? Not if you can hear me. Nobody knows the equation of a horizontal line. What do you got, Mary? Something, anything, that's right. Y equals 2. Y equals 2. There's an equation of a horizontal line. And again, I'm going to put it in that folder because it is a linear function. Okay, here you go. Here's a chance to redeem yourself. How about an equation, but Mary? An equation of a vertical line. I would love to walk up that wall. That would be so awesome. What's an equation of a vertical line, DuBoard? There you go. A vertical line would be x equals any number, 4. And I'm actually going to make those two lines be the same color. I would like my horizontal and vertical right now. I can also go up to the settings wheel at the top. And if I click on that, I can see all the colors right next to it. I don't have to just click on it. And then I can say I'm done. So I went to the settings wheel. Then I can actually see all of them at the same time. I'm going to make them both green. You can make them whatever you want. I just want those two to be the same. And right now, before I forget, I'm going to click save. This is what we're doing this week, because these next couple of weeks, we're just going to keep messing around with Desmos. Okay. So you're going to create a scene using the Desmos calculator. You got to have a living creature in it, like a person or an animal, whatever. It just has to be something that's living that's in a scene. You got to have something in the background. A couple of resources here, short videos that you could look at. I mean, you know YouTube is full of it, right? There's all kinds of stuff out there, but here's 2 right here that can kind of get you going and thinking about it. And you need to use each equation twice, and you need to have a minimum of 30 equations. So if you look, there's 7 equations here. I actually have to give you the equation for a circle. I forgot to type it in. Okay, if I look at these equations, right, if I go up to settings, we have our x-axis and our y-axis. I could actually label those if I wanted to, x and y. Okay, we're in the x-y axis. That means every single formula that we'll have is going to have a y and an x in it because we're in that plane. All the other letters, M or A, B, C, D, and E, those are all just numbers. Okay, but you need to make sure that you have a y and an x because that's the plane that we're in, a 2-dimensional plane. Looking at these formulas, absolute value, okay. Powers would be a quadratic when you're a degree 2. Your x in parentheses is being raised to a degree 2. Your x is being raised to a degree 3. That's a cubic. So we're going to go down through Desmos, and we're going to just actually punch in some of these, make folders for them so that you can actually see what they look like. Okay. The next one after linear functions, I'm going to make a folder and close that folder. The next folder I want to make, plus sign at the top left. We're going to start with the very first power after x. It's going to be a degree 2, so y equals a. Oh, I'm sorry. I also want to shut off my linear function. I can just click the tab and it will shut it off. Turn it on and off. I'm going to shut it off because I don't want to see any of those pictures. Okay, for our power function, y equals parentheses x minus h Close the parenthesis. Now I need an exponent. Your exponent is going to be shift. Number 6 will put you up there. The hi-hat, little hi-hat there to the second power. And then I'm going to arrow over to come back down again. Plus K. What's that? You're going to do the shift 6, that little hi-hat that's above that. So this is a degree 2, x squared. All these, A is going to tell you how wide and how skinny it's going to be. H is where you're shifting on the x-axis, and K is where you're shifting on the y-axis. I'm going to add all of these as sliders. Now, on my page here, I can click down and drag it so it's down in my view a little bit better. Okay, you just click down and drag it wherever you want to drag it. You can look at A to see how compressed, making it wider, negative, making it skinnier. Okay, so that's what A does in front of the X. Like I said, H is going to shift it left and right. If I go to the left, go to the right, and then K is up and down. So H really represents the X, K represents the Y, going up and down. I want to name it quadratic. And I'm going to put these all in it before I decide to move it around. Quadratic function. If not, then I'll probably get rid of the power one and just use the word quadratic. Okay, so they're all in the folder. I'm going to close the folder. And the next folder. Cube function. And you just, actually, I can go right into quadratic. And I can copy this right here because I'm just changing the exponent to a 3. Copy your quadratic. Copy it. Close your folder. Come down here and just paste it in. And then arrow over till you're up in the exponent. Delete, change it to a 3. I'm going to shut off my quadratic. All right, I'm leaving it for now. Cubic, putting it in there. All of these have C's and D's. All right. Closing the cubic. Next one that we can do is absolute value folder. Y equals A. Here you have a keyboard that's down here. If you click on the keyboard, absolute value. All right, absolute value of X minus C plus D. I'm going to shut off the cube root function. Where was it? Under the keyboard right here. I click on the keyboard, and then right here, you have the absolute value of A. Just click on that. You also have other functions over here. If you go in and look at them, you got miscellaneous, some other things in there, a square root with any root number that you want to put. What is the next one? Square root. I swear I've used it on here before and it would come right up. All right, square root. Y equals A. SQRT. I swear I used it. There we go. It is SQRT, or you can go in the keyboard either way. Square root is also in the keyboard. SQRT, and it's going to be the same. X minus C. We're shifting from the origin, C units. and then arrow out from underneath there and put plus D. And I'm going to drop that in the square root. When you are making your project, you could have 2 tabs open and you could actually copy the formula and drop it in your project. That's why we're doing that. So you don't have to keep retyping them every time. Okay. Don't forget to save all that hard work. Okay, so you guys just have your honors summer packet to work on and designing your website. Website's not due till Friday. Thanks for joining class. If you have any questions, email me.